Hello and welcome to the One Piece trading card game National University 3-on-3 tournament in the OP06/ST13 meta. My name is Atrocious. You can also call me Jake, and today in this video we're going to be commentating the round that is very similar actually to the last video that we did. If you didn't see the first round of the bracket, it's going to be the same leaders in here: Moria leaders, Enel, Katakuri, and Sakazuki. But I do know in this one, if you saw our preview from the last video, is this is going to be a different matchup. We're not going to be watching Enel versus Katakuri. In this one, we're going to be watching one of the two mirror matches. Now, for full disclosure, this is not my stream and my content. This is from the official live stream that happened like right before EPO1's release. So link is in the description below if you do want to watch that. And for all the returning viewers and even new viewers, let me know down in the description below if you'd like to see live streams of more IRL content. Over on our Twitch channel the other day, I live streamed a money match that was happening at my locals, and it seemed that people enjoyed it. So if you enjoyed it, maybe you want to see more, let me know down in the comments below. It doesn't always have to be a money match, it can just be locals overall. More than happy to potentially find a good way to do that. But let's get into our matchup. And so we're going to be watching a Moria mirror match. This is one of people's most anticipated decks for OP06, a very, very cool leader in my opinion. That's the match that we're going to watch. The player on the left is going to go first in this one, and I feel, oh man, I'm really torn on this. I feel like you want to go first in this because your first on turn, you can play a Sindri, right? Turn 1, and then your second turn, you can attach 1 Dawn to leader and then rest 2 and use your when attacking leader effects. So the player on the left is putting out their life right away. So it looks like maybe they have a Sindri in hand potentially. I know they have a Tashigi there in the hand, but immediately putting that out. The player on the right, though, is taking a little bit longer to think. Now, obviously, there are some other cards that you may love to see in your hand, whether that's the Dr. Hogbacks and stuff like that. Absalom. Takes me a while to say that, but this player going second, they've got a Great Eruption, the Hina, Rebecca, Moria, Perona, a pretty good hand, I feel like, in itself. Turn 1, you're maybe not really doing much, though. You may do the Great Eruption just to draw a card overall, but the player on the left, as I mentioned, they do have a Sindri in hand. They also have the Absalom and then a Rappalucci as well in their hand. So very, very good hand, I feel like, for the player on the left. So going first, and then also this hand could be really, really good for them. So it's really just all going to depend at this point. They're like top decks and discards. And so here we go. Turn 1 on the left. It is going to be that Sindri. That Sindri, for anyone who doesn't know, on play, trash the top 5 cards of your deck if your leader is the Thriller Bark Pirate. So trashing several cards. We got Suru, some 2 drops. I think that's Helmeppo, and then a 5 cost right there. So couple things discarded to get you going, and now we go into the second player's turn. They just drew and passed, so very, very good sign for this Moria leader. And so thinking about what they want to do, they have that Borsalino in hand, but like I mentioned, I think they're just going to go ahead and use the leader effect. The leader effect, Dawn ×1 when attacking, rest 2 Dawn, discard 1 card from your hand, put the top 2 cards of your deck into the trash, and play a Thriller Barks character with a cost of 4 or less. So playing that Perona there, the Perona, also a new card, has that on play effect. If you have if your opponent has 5 or more cards in your hand, choose one of the following: your opponent discards 1 card from their hand, or give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost for the turn. Since the opponent had no characters on the field, obviously you would choose that first option there. So the Perona getting to the bin, and so the player on the right is going to use the leader effect as well. Really just get their trash going overall. Going to be pitching a brand new and discarding the Rebecca and Absalom, and then playing the Perona. So probably going to be trashing a card from the opponent's hand and going to be taking that life there. Anyways, going to be moving into this one. It's the 4 Dawn turn at this point. Going to be potentially using the leader effect again, and they are. So going to be pitching the Rob Lucci, going to be swinging 6, trashing Branu and Sabo there. So not a ton of counter in hand overall, just some 1Ks, and playing that Absalom. The Absalom on play, you may return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, KO a character with a cost of 2 or less. Mostly just playing it to play it at this point, to get a body on the field. And so that life is going to be taken by the player on the right. And so now moving into taking that life from the swing, it's going to be a Rob Lucci right there, as that Perona swung for 7, I believe. I think it's a 5K base, it is. And so now into the 6 Dawn turn, the player on the right is like super behind. I feel like they need to get some stuff going in this one. So going to first be swinging 5 at 5, that Perona. So could be just a quick 1K counter right here. Couple different options, I feel like, in the player on the left's hand. They've got that Sabo there, and they will pitch that Sabo. So now you got to work a little bit more if you want to be able to KO it. So going to be playing that Hina, hard playing that Hina to -4 the Absalom, and then using the leader effect and swinging at the Perona. So if I had to take a guess, they're going to be grabbing maybe that Absalom from the bin and KOing the opposing Absalom. So first thinking about what they want to discard from the hand, though, I think after the discard from the hand and trashing from the deck, you're always doing that. So I think the order of operations goes you resolve the leader effect first, and then the on play effect of the Absalom, and then you result the swing portion of the leader. So pitching a Borsellino and a Suru, that's a 2K and a blocker, so it doesn't feel great. But again, you have that Absalom there. That Absalom, you're going to put the Branu and then also something else, right? Rebecca, you're going to put those at the bottom of your deck. KO the Absalom, like I mentioned, and now the 6,000 power swing is going at that Perona. You do have the Tashigi. I think the Tashigi could be a pitch that you can make right away, but it looks like they're just going to let it go. So moving into this next turn, I feel like this has been really chaotic, really fast, as someone who has not played a ton of OP06, in fact, none at all. But going into this next turn, we've got let's see, they're at 7 Dawn. So the thing about being odd, though, is that you're not going to be the first person to play Gecko Moria, but you've got 4 of your 5 life. So I think you're doing pretty all right up to this point, even if you don't get to play the Gecko Moria first. And so looking at their hand, they've got 2 of those 8 drops. They've got a Branu and Borsellino. I wouldn't mind playing either the Branu or the Borsellino. If you attach 1 to the leader and use leader effect, that's 3 Dawn gone, and you would have 4 left to play Borsellino, right? So I don't think that's actually too bad, because you've got some options that you can put in terms of from your trash onto the field. You could play the Perona, right? You could play that Absalom. The Absalom, though, I don't think would KO anything, so maybe Perona might be a little bit more valuable, but going to be playing 2, resting 2, and I think that's for the Branu there. So the Branu is going to come in, going to be looking at those 3, and can't grab any of them, just putting them all in the trash. Rob Lucci, Dr. Hogback, and the Perona. So maybe you attach 3 Dawn to leader, maybe try to knock out the Perona on the opposing side, and then use the leader effect to grab something like Dr. Hogback, right? The Dr. Hogback might be good, because you can grab another card from the trash, and it looks like they are at least going to be using the leader effect, pitching the 2 Dawn. It wouldn't surprise me if they're swinging at the Perona. They're going to pitch a Kuzan and a Tashiki, or another Borsellino, I think it was. So they're thinking about what they want to grab. They're going to grab the Perona, actually. So the Perona comes down. Could give an opponent -3 cost, but if I had to take a guess, it's pitching a card from the hand, kind of that hand control that we were mentioning. And so it's going to be that Rob Lucci, no counter on that one. And now the 8K swing, they're going to take it, and that's a Suru. So now moving into this 9 Dawn turn, the Gecko Moria 8-drop is able to be played, but you wouldn't be able to use leader effects. So that's something you have to stay cognizant of. The 5K swing is going to come in, going to take a life for the player on the left. It's going to be a Kuzan, and another 5K from the Absalom is going to come in, and just another life. So right there, we're at 2 now, but a +2 card situation for the player on the left. They didn't have many cards to deal with in their hand, and so now could be another Perona swing going on here, and it looks like that Perona is going to swing over at life. You could pitch the Borsalino here. I don't know. You're in a really weird spot because you don't have a ton of cards in hand, and ended up pitching the Tashigi. So going right there, you have 8 Dawn now there, so it makes sense to swing face. Only 4 cards in trash. The player on the left has like 15 cards in trash, and the player on the right only has 4. So going to be pitching the 4K Borsalino, or the 4-cost Borsalino blocker, and so the Gecko Moria is going to come down. What 2 cards are they going to get? Brand-new and Borsalino. So brand-new leave active, and Borsalino put as rested in the the brand new, and the brand new is going to use that leader effect, grabbing that 2K Tashigi. So the Gecko Moria really, really strong. Arguably, in my opinion, the strongest card coming in OP06. On play, choose up to 1 4-cost or less and 1 2-cost or less character from your trash. Play one of them as active and play the remaining as rested. So using that effect to put the Borsalino active and the brand new rested, you still get that on play effect through the brand new, even if it's played as rested. So lots of cards in the trash. Thinking about what they maybe want to grab, probably through the Gecko Moria, right? The 8-drop. They've got some options with the Helmeppo. The Helmeppo could be really good to -3 on a character, and then combo with something else like Absalom to KO something. But going to be swinging the brand new at the brand new, going to be just taking that out. It's pretty all right. I mean, it's not, it just allows that the brand new is not going to be able to swing anymore. So swinging face at leader is going to be that Absalom counter, and going to be playing the Great Eruption with 9 Dawn this turn. They use Great Eruption, going to draw another Gecko Moria. So another dude there, and -2 the Perona. So going to be playing that Gecko Moria. Could grab a Rob Lucci, to be honest. It's going to be Rob Lucci and Helmeppo. So going to be playing the Rob Lucci, I would think, as active, and then resting the Helmeppo. The Helmeppo is going to -3 the Hina, and so since the Perona's at 2 and the Hina's at 0, the Rob Lucci is going to KO the both of them. So the 8-drop Gecko Moria really showcasing like how strong this archetype can be and how quick and crazy it can be. And so now at full 10 Dawn, a card is drawn. I can't tell what that card is on the very end. It looks like a Sabo blocker that they just drew into. So Sabo blocker could be good, because then that means that your characters can't be KO'd by effects through like more potential like Rob Lucci business, Helmeppo, stuff like that, Hina, starter deck stuff. So could be good if that is what you're trying to avoid right now. Plus, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't really mind like a 6K swing from leader, a 9K swing from the Gecko Moria character, and then playing something like Sabo and Rebecca. The Rebecca can grab you like another really good character that you could get, that you would want to play, and maybe just kind of disregard the 3 if you grab like the starter deck Hina, right, and play that for free. You would get 3 characters down, fill up your board, 2 of them being blockers. Could be really, really nice. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly they do. They've got a couple 2Ks in hand, 2 Tashigis and a Suru. going on right there. So thinking about what they want to do, I think you probably play the Rebecca first though before you use the Sabo. So definitely don't want to make that mistake if that's the route that you're going. You want to play those two characters, but thinking about what they want to do, I think that play that I mentioned is at the forefront of their mind right now because they shifted those two cards to the front. What do you grab though if you play Rebecca? You have that started Akina in trash. You can grab some 4s. You don't really have any other characters that you really want to play overall in terms of from your hand. So going to start out by swinging 6. I don't know exactly where the 6 is. It could be at the Helmeppo or brand new or really just going at life at this point. Could be. So thinking about what they want in here, they might grab the Perona. Ooh, Perona could be interesting, and so they're going to take that life. It's going to be that Kuzan, still no counter, and so taking that life as well. It's going to be a Dr. Hogback, I think that it was. And so now, in this position, to be honest, now I'm definitely playing the 2 blockers, right? Because you just got your opponent to 0 life at this point. And so you put 3 blockers on board, and you have 3 2Ks, right? And you can draw more off of the Sabo draw in those 2Ks. I'm definitely playing Rebecca Sabo at this point. I'm putting down that started Akina, right? I don't care about the effect, but I just want another body on the board to really pressure game next turn because they don't have any blockers on the field. That's the crazy thing about this board state right now is the blockers are so important for you and they don't have anything. They just have counter in their hand basically, and you can swing past counter at this point. So I'm really in favor of putting the 2 blockers down at this point. I'm in that boat. Do it. Just do it. Come on. I think they're trying to think about whether or not they want to swing this Borsellino to maybe like KO a body, or maybe just looking at like the amount of 2Ks that they have or counter cards in general, just to think like, okay, can they get out of, because theoretically, if you attach all this Dawn to Borsellino, you actually could just win the game, right? Right? Yeah, you could, because it's 5, and so they have 5 cards in hand that could be like 5 2Ks theoretically. And so you're at 9 Dawn. Oh, they're going the safe route, just playing that Rebecca there, grabbing the Perona. They're grabbing Perona. Okay, I would have played the Hina, but maybe opting to just get more counter power in hand with the Perona. The Perona is a 1K counter, so pitching the Hina and the Great Eruption, again, like I mentioned, 2 non-counter cards. I'm sorry, the Perona is a 2K counter, so maybe that's always correct to play the Perona. Then you can like start out playing Perona next turn and pitch a important card potentially in their hand. And so now again, you've got 3 blockers, but they're just going to swing. No, I wouldn't have swung. I don't think I would have swung. I don't think I would have swung. If I was playing the Rebecca Sabo, I don't know if I would have done that. Because now you have 1 less blocker on the field, right? But this is an interesting question now because you have so many cards in hand and you actually have a really good amount of 2Ks. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different 2Ks and 1 more card with 1,000 power counter on it in that Sabo. So you're really telling your opponent that like, okay, you got to focus on KOing all these characters, right? Or else I'm just going to win. And you got to play a blocker down too. That's the biggest thing. So I think maybe what they might try to do is maybe try to play Kuzan this turn. I don't think there's any Thriller Bark Pirate blockers besides the 2-cost Cerberus, but I don't know if people are playing that card in these Moria lists. Because you're playing the Sabos, you're playing the Borsellinos, right? You've got enough blockers. And so given the trash, thinking about what they want to do, I really thought the advantage was to the left, but then the right really came in and said, all right, bet. So this has been a really, really cool game, actually. I have really enjoyed watching this. I do think this deck is like really, really cool, even though I think black is like really powerful at this point. And it's kind of concerning how powerful it is in the OP06 and ST13 metas. But I really like watching this deck. I think that this deck specifically is super entertaining to watch. Mainly because you just trash a lot of cards. So putting 2 Dawn on the Rob Lucci and swinging, that's going to be an 8K swing. It's going to be 2 Tashigis. So getting out of that, it looks like they were going for lead. And so that was a 9K counter there. So thinking about what they want to do, they've got 8 Dawn left. 8 Dawn to work with. If they grab the Gecko Moria and play it, they can only play 1 Borsalino. And that means that all they have left is the Perona and the leader swings along with the Moria character. But they're going to be attaching 2 Dawn and swinging 7 with Perona. So the 7 with Perona is probably going at lead. Probably just try to bait as many counter cards or blockers as they possibly can. So they're going to pitch a 2K and a 1K, the Sabo and the Perona. The hand slowly dwindling down. Now, at this point, it looks like they're going to be using the leader effect, potentially. Leader effect at this stage of the game. Could do something like grabbing back the Dr. Hogback, right? The Dr. Hogback with that on-play effect would be able to let you get a Thriller Bark Pirate, and so you could grab like a Perona, but deciding instead to swinging 5. So going to be blocking with that Sabo, in my opinion. That's a really easy block right there because like he lives, right? And you block an attack. So that's like the best of both worlds at that point. So 3 2Ks in hand for the player on the right. Really thinking now, player on the left, what they want to do. So I guess like you could go wider and swing with the Helmeppos, but like the Helmeppo and the brand new, but like I don't think you can reach it overall. I don't think you can reach it. I really think that you need it. Well, even if you swung like 6 with leader, you attach 1 Dawn and swung with leader and pop the Sabo, isn't it kind of the same result? So swinging 6 with the Helmeppo, not getting anything. Swinging 6 now with the brand new and taking that life. Swinging 9 there, blocking with the Rebecca. The player on the left is feeling real good about this one. I think they've got all the control in the world. Just going to be swinging 19 at lead, and they cannot counter out of that. So that is going to be game. The Moria on the right taking that win. Do they showcase the other games? They are showcasing the other games. So this is the Sakazuki mirror match, and it's one life to 2 left to right. It looks like it's the player on the right's turn right now. So we can't see their hand size, but it looks like the player on the left only has 2 cards in hand, and the player on the right has like something like 5 cards or so in hand. And so attaching 3 Dawn to the Helmeppo potentially, the Helmeppo would be a 7K swing if they did that. Oh my gosh, they have like 3 Houndblazes in hand. Wow, that's crazy. That's so many Houndblazes. And so thinking about what they want to do, going to be resting 2, probably going to be playing a Houndblaze, right? What do you Houndblaze though? Do you Houndblaze like a Subaru, I guess? You just rested 2. What are you doing with it? Just probably thinking about the math of who they want to actually boost. If I had to take a guess, like I would boost the Helmeppo probably. Going to be using that Houndblaze, boosting the Helmeppo, bottom decking the active Suru. Yes, you definitely want to do the active characters in case you have to start swinging at board. And so attaching 1 more, that's going to be a 7K swing at lead. And so the 7K swing right here, I would assume connects. And so then you attach the rest of the Dawn to the leader. It's going to be a Great Eruption right there. The Great Eruption's not really going to matter, I feel like, at this point with only 3 cards in hand. So I guess with the other Houndblazes, you actually use the rest of the Dawn to just all in. Use the other Houndblazes to boost the leader. And then just do that. You could... Oh my gosh, yeah, they're going to play 3 Houndblazes. That's insane. Wait a minute. Wait, oh, I guess they were just like going, you know what, just all of this Dawn. I was going to say, wait, you can't just attach the Dawn that you rested onto your leader. And so are they going to show the other game? They are. So this is the Katakuri and Nell. So it's actually now 2-0. So no matter what, I think they advance. And so the team on the right advances. So regardless of the outcome of this game. So this one looks like it's going to be a little bit of trouble for the Enel player as well. They only have they have 4 cards in hand right now. But look at this board on the right side. You have a 7-drop bomb. You have a 10-drop bomb, you have a Satori, you have an Okiku that's attacking. That's a lot of dudes attacking right now. And with 4 life total, the Gedatsu doesn't really have a ton of value, but thinking about what they want to do, they've split off 6 and 4. If you're the Enel, like, you have to start clearing bodies, right? So maybe you do actually go for the Okiku. And then you just use the rest of your Dawn to clear like the Satori, the 7-drop mom, stuff like that. But the more Dawn that you commit, the more that you can't play the big bodies to respond to the Katakuri's big bodies. So it's really interesting of an interaction that they have going on right now. So going to start off swinging 9. I don't know exactly where this is. This 9, though, is going to be at life and just going to go into hand. It looks like it's a 7-drop Big Mom. And so we know that the last life that the Katakuri has is a dead card. And going to be playing an impact. So taking that life, going to be attaching the rest of the Dawn and swinging 2, 4, 6, 11 at lead. And it looks like they got it, actually. That's a ton of just non-counter, 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 and then like, I think maybe like 4 in total. So it looks like the Enel is going to win. I think the team on the right, though, overall advances, but that's 2 streams in a row, 2 videos in a row that we saw the Enel take down the Katakuri. So maybe actually Enel has a good matchup in the Katakuri. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But that's going to be all for this video. The video coming soon will showcase another 3v3 match. We still got plenty in this tournament. I know that the next match is going to be a beauty because it is Moria versus the Vinsmoke family. This is my OP06 deck, I think, right here. It's either that or Yamato, so I'm very excited to watch this here soon. I think this will be the first time that we've showcased this deck on the channel, so subscribe so you do not miss that. Thank you so much for watching, and again, the full live stream is in the description below, and I hope to see you again soon.